Yes, my people. Lion Text TV, rude boy. Making sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. Every little helps like Tesco's, you get me? Bruv, welcome to the Premier League Roundup show where today we're going to round up all the Premier League results of the weekend. First, we're going to start with the Tottenham game, which was the early kickoff on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, you get me? Wolves 2, Tottenham 1. Now, this game made me smile, fam, because Tottenham started well. First 3 minutes, Kulusevski laid the ball to Johnson and he scores. Other than that, Wolves were dominant, had most of the ball, had a lot of chances, didn't really convert, had a lot of the ball, you get me? And then right up until stoppage time, rude boy, that's where the drama started, fam. The first goal, beautiful control from Wang Hee Chang, and he slapped it. And I was like, jeez. And I was in the 91st minute. Then the next goal, last kick of the game, beautiful goal, beautifully worked. Put Tottenham in the spliff through, boy. That's what I like to see. You get me? Them man, they've been running up their mouths too much. You get me? About time they settle themselves. You get me? Big up to Wolves for that result. And yeah, big up, man. Trust me. Then the next game, we're going to the Arsenal game, 3-1. Good result for Arsenal. You get me? Much needed win after the last game against Newcastle. You know, the ones there. Trossard scoring, Saliba scoring, and Zinchenko, aka Bart Simpson, scored as well. He scored a banger. Pull your hair out. You get me? The Canio settings, cuz, you get me? So big up to him. You get me? So we're gonna move on, boy. Moving on slowly. You know the ones there, bruv. Next game. Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3. Bloody hell, this was a banging game, fam. Goals galore, you get me? Eze chipping the pen slotting a beautiful penalty. You get me? And Everton coming up 3-2 winners, you get me? So a result that they must have needed, you get me? Everton have been up and down lately. They picked up a few results here and there, but they've been slapped in a lot of the games earlier on in the season. So it's good for flipping Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche. I smoke cigarettes and I drink coffee. You know the ones there, fam. Big up Sean Dyche for that one. You get me? Moving on. Man United 1, Luton 0. Bruv. These man are dead, fam. I can't even lie, fam. How you man are they're struggling to Luton. Lindelof scored the goal. It was a banging shot, you get me? Come from a set piece. Big up to him. You get me? But Man United, fam, at home at Old Trafford against one of the worst teams in the league in Luton, they should be slapping them at least 2 or 3-0, fam. Them man, they were struggling because, you get me, missing chances galore. Big problems there at Man United, fam, but at least they got the win, fam. So, you know, they're moving on swiftly. Moving on, you get me? Moving up like the Jeffersons, Rubai, you get me? So, yeah. And then the next game, to round off the Saturday games, Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0. After the result that they had against Arsenal, they've come and dropped points to one of the worst teams in the league in Bournemouth as well. But big win for Bournemouth, you get me? Because Newcastle ain't no easy team to play against, you get me? I know Newcastle have a lot of injuries in that, fam. So it's good that you took advantage of all of that. But even so, fam, Newcastle was still hard to break down. You saw Arsenal try to break them down and they couldn't, fam. And they had injuries then, you get me? So big up to them, fam. Big result for Bournemouth, you get me? So yeah, one of them, fam. Now we're gonna move all the way to today's games now, yeah? Today's games were a bit of a madness, cuz, you get me? So boy, bruv, mad thing. So yeah, first game we're gonna get onto for Sunday, today. Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1. Now Villa, impressive home record. You get me? Unai Emery Big up good evening, my brother, you get me? Big up to Unai Emery. The guys keep winning at home, you get me? Villa, slapping teams, you get me? I know they lost last week to Nottingham Forest away, but at home, they seem to be slapping everyone at home. So big up to Unai Emery, big up to Villa. Big win for them, you get me? Fulham are struggling at the moment. Don't know where their next win's going to come from. So is what it is, bruv. You get me? The next game, Brighton won, Sheffield United won. Now, that's a good result for Sheffield United, considering Brighton. You see, with Brighton, yeah, they're one of them yo-yo teams, you know. One day they can slap a big team, and then the next day they get slapped. It's mad, because they could slap up Man United and then get slapped at Villa. Weird, fam. They're so up and down, up and down, up and down, like a yo-yo, Rubai. It's mad. You get me? So that was a big result for Sheffield United. So big up to Sheffield United, fam. Big result. You get me? They don't really get much wins or draws even. So that's a good result. You get me? So yeah, big up to them. Then the next game now, Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. Comfortable victory for Liverpool. Comfortable at Anfield. Expected 3 points. You get me? Salah got a brace. So big up to Salah. You get me? He's still banging in goals. You get me? Maybe in the summer he might go flipping to Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia wanted him in the transfer window. They decided to keep him, so he's gonna bang in the goals. I think Liverpool will be in the title race with Arsenal and City. You get me? I think that'll be the 3 teams that will be in the title race. And after the fact that they dropped points to Luton away last week, it was good to get them back on track. You get me? So good result for them. And big up to Liverpool too. The next game now, West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Now, good result for West Ham, you get me? Because Nottingham Forest are a decent team, you get me? Like, they got good players. They got that Owanyi guy. I forgot his name, fam. That big hench youth, fam. That big hench African youth, blood. He's a handful, blood. He caused us problems when we played against them at the beginning of the season. You get me? This guy is capable of scoring goals, and big up to him, fam. You get me? Doing this thing, but big win for West Ham. You get me? After they lost the last week, you get me? And after they came off the cup victory against us, you know, the ones there. So it was good for them to get back to winning ways. You get me? Up the irons. You get me? Them forever blowing bubbles, cuz blowing bubbles like Michael Jackson's monkey, fam. It's peak. You know the ones there. So yeah, big result for them. And now we're getting on to the final game of the day. The game of the day. The result of the day. The most dramatic game of the fucking day, fam. Chelsea 4, Manchester City 4. Bruv, this game was mental, fam. When I mean, yeah, it was end to end. Beautiful football from both Chelsea and City. You get me? Chelsea, probably Chelsea's best performance up until now. You get me? Best performance they played. City was shambolic in defense. You don't really see City shipping in goals like that. So they were shambolic, fam. You get me? Haaland got a brace. One of them was from the penalty spot. You get me? Ruben Diaz was horrible in defense today. He was horrible, fam. I can't lie. He was dreadful. Sterling, big up to Sterling, fam. It's like he had a point to prove, fam, against his former team. You get me? Ripping up Kyle Walker. You get me? He got the second goal for Chelsea. Played very well. You get me? He done his thing, fam. You get me? So big up to Sterling. Get me? You thought Rodri won it in the end, but luckily they managed to get a penalty, Chelsea, and Cole Palmer calmly slots it in the net. You get me? So, boy, City dropping points. Not usual, fam, for them to be dropping points, rude boy, but the man there drop points. So that's good for us. You get me? So Chelsea, they can take encouragement from this performance, considering the the result they came off last week with Tottenham, that would have given them a lot of confidence because they've been struggling a lot this season. You get me? Getting slapped here, there, and everywhere. You get me? Their last game at home was against Brentford. They got slapped 2-0. You get me? So they've been struggling. But to be honest, the one thing with Chelsea is, yeah, they always seem to raise their game against the better teams, fam. And I think the reason is, yeah, is because the better teams will attack them, where the other teams like Brentford and Brighton and all these other teams will conserve themselves. They'll sit back a little bit and hit them on the counter attack. And Chelsea are not really a team that can break down low blocks and defensive teams. You get me? That's why even us, we struggled to them because we decided to try and attack them. And it's at Stamford Bridge. You get me? So even though they haven't won a game there in so long, I think their last victory was against Luton, which is expected, you get me, because Luton are trash. You get me? So it is where it is, fam. But, bruv, this is the Premier League roundup, fam. You get me? Lion Text TV. Like and subscribe to the channel, boy. Every little helps like Tesco's. You get me? Thank you for watching. Lion Text. And I'm out. Bless up. Thanks for watching.